afternoon. Welcome to the news at noon on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Gbebo. Late former President Muhammadu Buhari said that his decision to join the Nigerian army was driven by a desire to escape an arranged early marriage by his family in his native Daura in Katsina State. Buhari made the disclosure in a light-hearted moment and conversation with his former Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Ali Patami, after he left office as president in 2023. The video of the conversation resurfaced hours after the former president's death at a London clinic on Sunday afternoon. In the now viral 3-minute-long video clip on social media, Buhari in high spirits offered a rare glimpse into his private life, recalling events shortly after completing his secondary school education at the time. Patami had reminded Buhari of his military exploits around 1984 to 1985 in Gombe, then in the old Bauchi state. Responding to why he joined the army, Buhari said, "Firstly, I joined the military because my family wanted me to marry. Hence, I escaped it through the army." He further explained, "After I returned home, they arranged for me to marry, and I got to know when one day I was out of the house and I met someone whom I didn't know was my uncle. He had never visited Daura before, and upon seeing me, he asked me to take him to my mother. I initially hesitated, but he reprimanded me, and I complied, and thereafter went about my business. When I returned, my mother told me the guest was my father's brother, that he had already given his daughter's hand in marriage to me." Buhari recounted with a chuckle. He said the challenge at the time was that when he completed his secondary education, he was offered a job to become the head of cooperatives department with a salary of £12.10, a motorcycle, a wife, and then remained there for life. "At that point, I just ran off to the military," Buhari said with laughter. "My mother was so upset because of that, so I kept apologizing to her throughout her lifetime because she said she wanted to see the offspring of her last child. That is how I ended up in the army." Leadership Television reports that the late Buhari, who ruled Nigeria as a military head of state from 1983 to 1985, and later as a democratically elected president between 2015 and 2023, passed away on Sunday in a London hospital at the age of 82 after a prolonged illness. That concludes the news at noon on Leadership Television. For more, log in to www.leadership.ng. Thanks for joining us.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.